as online, but the recommended channels. One of them is Obsidian playing Sea of Thieves for 117 people.
I don't know who Obsidian is.
Obsidian is
Fallout New Vegas employees.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant someone on.
No.
Yeah,
actually,
easy
a Twitch
mistake
streamer
to make.
was called Obsidian.
No, sorry.
I was just going to assume that it was based on your Twitch recommendations. It would be some half-naked woman who's just got enough string on their clothing to pass the Twitch regulations.
Shame on Twitch for not giving me more of those recommendations.
And we are live.
Hello. Welcome to Replacement Pints, where if you're not on for any length of time, you will be replaced. And if you have a career or job that you may or may not like, either Mitch or Matt will try and replace you from it. So, Evan, sorry, you at some point in future, you will no longer be teaching English in Japan because Matt or Mitch will come and take that job from you. Liam, I was going to say they might try and replace you, but somehow I think you might be able to fight back against their evil powers.
And what if I don't want to fight back? Because I would be happy for them to replace me.
Well, they have differing opinions on Elden Ring, so you probably would like to replace them.
Yeah, you see, if I could replace Mitch, then clearly I would get Naughty Dog to work on only Souls games. Everybody would be happy.
Except me. So yes, I have recovered from the knife wounds in my back, placed there by Mitch and Matt, by doing their totally unsanctioned quiz last week. We are Pixel Pints. We are the only global podcast that talks about two things that we enjoy, which is good beer and video games. We're not here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly. I kind of didn't do that yesterday, so I'm feeling slightly delicate today, but I've still got a couple of beers.
I like that
one of
phrase.
which is,
I feel delicate. I've never heard it phrased like that before, but I like it.
Yeah, it's not quite full-blown hangover, but you can feel like you had a drink. Yeah, but I'll drink through it. Everything will be fine. What else do we do? Stuff. Follow us on Twitter at PixelPointsPod. Where we shan't be changing our Twitter handle to Elon
I'm sorry,
Musk.
nope, correct you. It's Pixel_Pints on Twitter.
Whatever.
Instagram is PixelPintsPod. I know. Yeah, getting you back in the game. I'm helping you. I'm supporting you. Unlike that AI, that wasn't supportive.
No.
But are we verified?
We should be. Matt's already said he's going to pay for the blue tick on our account.
It's probably just a parody account. I mean, how can I trust it without the tick?
Without the $8.
Yeah.
That was so funny. The man's ego is so fragile that he buys the platform to say it's going to be focused on freedom of speech, and then some comedians make fun of him, so he bans all their accounts.
Yep. And then on top of that, he literally is so fragile that he has to answer to every little criticism everyone is talking about, and he answers it. It's like then everyone just gives him more criticism just to get him to answer it. It's just hilarious.
You can also watch our videos archived on our YouTube channel. Just search for Pixel Pints on YouTube. We'll quickly go round the room before the actual sanctioned and official quiz, which I have here. No AI questions. I learned some things last week, which is Matt's better at video game trivia than Mitch, and Mitch struggles to read.
I actually do struggle to read. That's a legit thing. I use a bionic reading software usually to try to help me with reading, just because I do struggle. But question, Keith, before you do your quiz, because like we thought the quiz questions that AI came up with was somewhat Keith-like at moments. Would you not agree?
The Sonic one would have been one of mine, although you said that I did ask the question, I didn't. What was the other thing I said?
What was one question you asked about Sonic then, like the last time? Because wasn't there a
well,
Sonic themed one, and it was like, when was he
Yeah,
first
I did a
featured?
Sonic thing quiz because Evan's such a Sonic hating bastard. And I think most of those questions were kind of obscure, but I think the one that you were referring to was the Sonic Team Racing one.
Maybe.
Yeah, I did really well at that quiz. Doesn't feel good.
Yes,
at
you
all.
did, which is quite sad,
Ugh.
maybe.
Yeah, it's like the one
right,
time I show off and I come on and do that quiz.
just
Fucking
on-
Sonic Hedgehog.
Just on time for Sonic Frontiers, my friend. You should drop that Elden Ring, play some Sonic Frontiers.
I said that game was going to be shit all along.
Hey, it
looked shit.
It's getting good reviews, though. It's getting good reviews.
No, it's
I
like
do not understand. I do not understand.
Swimming in
how it's getting
7s for a
such
Sonic
good
game
reviews.
is fantastic. We haven't had a 7 Sonic game in so long. Do you know
what is Generations at? Because I feel like that's
no.
the
3D.
Sonic.
I'm talking
That's-
3D, sir. 3D.
Generations is 3D. It's both. It's like 3D.
Bit of both.
Evan's got fed up of us talking about Sonic, that he's just making loads of noise. So Evan, at 20 to 12 in Japan, probably I'm assuming you're on 8 to 10 beers. You seem like a person who's going to be ready for a quiz.
Yes.
As it says game
I'm
over in
ready.
the background.
Yeah. Game over, man. Game over. Yeah, I'm ready for a lovely quiz. Are we doing beers
Matt?
first, or are we going to do a quiz?
I'm just going to go around the room and then we'll do beers and then the quiz.
Okay.
That's normally how the format works. So thank you for paying attention. Matt, how are things in Las Vegas?
Pretty good. Everybody else is playing God of War Ragnarok, but I've been playing Vampire Saviors.
Vampire Survivors.
Survivors, that's what it is, yeah.
Do you know what you're playing? I'm sorry. Do you sure you're playing that game? You're not playing another game that is called?
Yeah, no, but
Vampire Saviors?
so I was actually really surprised. So like when I saw this game trending on Steam, like a month or two ago, I was like, "What is this shit?" Right? And I was like, "This has got to be some meme game or whatever." And then it hit Game Pass, I think yesterday or the day before. So I booted it up because I was like, "Oh, I want to see this. I want to see what this is like." And yeah, it sunk like 7 hours into it, just disappeared. I was like, "Wow."
Have you read any of the bestiary?
No, I haven't. Is it good?
It should be, because it was written by James Stephanie Sterling.
Oh wow, I
Oh,
did not know that. Okay.
nice.
They have been hyping that game up all over their podcast. So the developers got in touch and said, "Would you write the background lore for Vampire Survivors for us?"
That's awesome.
And she said yes. And apparently loads of people got abusive because, of course, she put a trans character in it.
Who cares?
So loads of people lost their shit because they're whiny idiots. Mitch, how are things in
What
LA?
did they expect from a trans person to not put a trans person in a game that they have full control over?
I don't know. I really don't.
So they need some better arguments, is all I'll say.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't think Jesus is in the game.
Ah, that's a shame.
But maybe Jesus Christ is, or Jesus Crust.
Oh my god. You're struggling with the names today, Burkoff. You're struggling with the names.
Yeah. It's too
Is
early,
that the
damn it.
Pizza Hut Christmas deal? Jesus Crust. Mitch, how are things in LA?
Things are good. Clocked out. Done with Ragnarok. Finished that at 29 hours on the dot, pretty much.
Do you have the Platinum Trophy?
I do not. No, I'm planning to go back and play more. Like I got through the main story, basically completed almost 2 entire realms, and then did the beefy, really, really good side missions, which I would say are better than The Witcher. They're better than The Witcher 3, and I know, and I've said it, I like The Witcher 3 side missions a lot, but here, oh my lordy, did they actually they added camera work to it, story, they added really touch-felt moments for some characters, and it's really good. It's just really fucking good. I did not expect it. I thought I was nervous and I was faithful in Sony Santa Monica, but wow, they pulled it off, and it's just utterly impressive. It's just so impressive. So I'm trying to finish the game, and then I'm also playing with the accessibility settings a little bit and doing my own little playthrough, trying to do with their accessibility settings, and just see what they got going underneath the hood there. It's really impressive. I could talk for hours about this game, but like in the end, it's all about somehow it's still about a father and son, and it. Oh my God, getting emotional saying those words. Jesus Christ, it's really good. I don't get emotional very often, but holy cow!
But it's not as good as Elden Ring. Liam, how are things with you?
Did Elden Ring make you cry, Liam? I don't think it did, so it doesn't deserve Game of the Year.
It brought me to tears many times, Mitch. As
Yeah,
I
many tears
figured
as
out
there's
new ways how the game could kick my ass.
Yeah,
I've never been so degraded.
Yeah, new ways that the game kicked your ass and not offered you any accessibility on how to actually play the game. Sorry, one feature sorry, Liam, I don't mean to, I just thought of it now. There's one really cool feature, though, that God of War has that I think all games should have, which is there is a mini-boss checkpoint that you can enable, which means if you get halfway through their health and you die, you can come back and have your full health with all your stuff, and they have half health. That is a godsend for people. Highly recommend it for all
You
games.
can do that with the Valkyries. Patch that into the original game, and I'll do the fucking Valkyries.
Exactly. And then you don't miss out on like the lore of the Valkyries, which was really cool once you got to the end. So like, games should have that. I love that they have that. That should be a requirement on every single game. Go ahead, Liam. Sorry.
Even
I'm
Zelda.
Liam. Did I mention I'm a masochist?
So,
but please, Keith.
okay. Well, on your note that you're a sadomasochist.
How are you, Keith?
That's a funny story. I was in France for a long weekend a few years ago, and we were in a place called Le Roc-Garjat, which is near the chateau where the Marquis de Sade used to live. And you go on a boat tour around, and they'll point out all these historic locations, including the chateau where the Marquis de Sade lived. And the American tourist behind me saying, "Look, that's the place where the Marquis de Sade lived. That's where we get the word sodomy from." It's like, you fucking idiots. I was glad I wasn't on that boat for much longer, because I'm not sure I could have taken any more of their banality.
I just want Keith to do an American accent the rest of the show.
That's one of the paid tiers that we're going to have when we make it big.
$8.
$8.
You get a little beer. You get a little beer icon that says you're verified.
Yeah, and I will send you messages in my whiny American accent. Right, let's move on to beers.
Keith, you gotta call it its new name. It is Beer Talk.
Well, that's just what we do. Let's move on to beer talk. Fine.
There you go.
Brill balls.
Because I like hearing you say talk. So yeah.
So in my last box of beers for a while, because I need to watch my money a little bit. Quite a lot of the stuff that came through was from Stone Brewing.
Nice.
I was saving. I was going to have this on Dia de las Motas, but I thought I'd save it for next time I was on the show. And it is a salt and lime lager.
Yeah,
that sounds really good.
And when I poured it, the head was massive, and now it's just completely died. But it's a really refreshing lager.
Yeah, I've had that.
And to follow that up, because I'm being careful what I'm drinking, I've got a North Brewing Company Imperial Red Ale, 7.2% ABV.
Jesus.
So at some point I'll have that, because I'm getting sick of IPAs. So I've been trying to source red ales. I've got a black IPA in the fridge, which I've had one of, but that's particularly nice. You get this kind of oaky, tobacco-y type flavour from that. but yeah, an Imperial Red Ale. Never seen one, never had one, so I'll be interested in what that does. And then, because I'm being good, I've got 0% Peroni. Cheers. Evan, are you going for a piss?
Sure sounds like it. So, it's late by me, so I have a beer. It's not early like it is with Barkov and Mitch. So recently I went to Ishigaki Island in Okinawa for a school trip, and I found a very small brewery there that brews their own beers, and bought a 6-pack there. So this is the first time having this beer, and I love the artwork here. I know there might be people that are not a fan of it, but
That's kind of cool.
yeah. So
Is it a worm?
kind of no. So if you can see the text in this guy's glasses, it says "show enough," and if anyone is a fan of the 80s kind of martial arts comedy movie called The Last Dragon, which is kind of like an urban kind of version of like a Bruce Lee film with a mostly all black cast. The bad guy in this film was called Show Enough, and he had these like ridiculous, like at the height of Japan is going to buy all of New York and in America. He had these like glasses with like the Japanese kind of like rising sun in the middle, and the main character Leroy, he ended up getting the glow at the end of the film and beating Show Enough. So it's kind of weird to see this in a very small island off the coast of Okinawa as their main kind of logo for their beer. But this beer is a low down golden ale, whatever the fuck that means. I'm guessing it's just a golden ale. So it's quite dark for a golden ale. I don't know. On the camera it doesn't show so well. I actually had a couple of the beers that I bought there over the past couple of days. They're okay. I'd like them to be better, but it's okay. There's not a lot of verve.
Well, lots of golden ales are like that because there's not a lot to them.
Sure.
Most of them are just very light.
And maybe that's what people are looking for between, as you were saying, Keith, like you're kind of sick of all these IPAs, and I kind of am as well. Like I like IPAs, but when you go to the shop, so much of what is on the shelf is these heavy IPAs that are between 5 and 7%. So when you get something like this, it actually is a bit nicer to have. And I guess that's the case. I don't know. It's hard to evaluate a independent beer from a very, very small island that's actually closer to Taiwan than it is to Japan. But it's okay. It's okay. I like the look of the can. I like what they're going for, but not a lot of punch to the beer, but it's okay.
Is it okay?
It is okay, Mitch.
Sorry.
It is okay.
You said it's okay. I counted 5 times in like 2 minutes. I was like, oh my god. But you're it's okay.
You know when your voice goes high, you're like, I don't think you liked it very much.
It's okay.
So,
it's okay. It's okay.
Take it or leave it.
Just lost in mediocrity.
It's okay. Did I say it was okay? It's okay.
Mitch is on coffee. I thought, unless you're drinking Alani from a mug now.
No, it's tea, not coffee.
Okay.
But I am drinking it in my...
Oh, do you work for Naughty Dog, Mitch? You've never mentioned that before.
I never knew that. Holy shit. Is it okay?
Is it okay?
I fucking knew he was going to do that.
It's okay. I actually haven't used this mug, so it comes in handy now. I don't drink tea or coffee often, so not here.
Matt, have you had any interesting beers recently, or have you just been mainlining tequila?
No, yeah, I haven't had much of anything to drink, honestly, after that weekend.
After a picture
Yeah.
with him lying in the grass, I think he's all good.
Yeah, no, I'm good for a few months now. I think good through the holidays. After that,
What are you talking about? We celebrated on a special. What are you talking about, Willis?
yeah, there may be a special episode coming up. We'll see.
I mean, we'll have to talk about it, but I don't plan to be here for the Christmas holiday. But like that weekend, we could do something special, and I would be in Phoenix, Arizona. So
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm drinking coffee right now. I did have, is it Shanky's Whip last night, which is like it's a whiskey drink.
no, I refuse. You need to say Alani or alcohol or get out of here.
It's a
Liam,
whiskey drink.
on the off chance you don't, you're probably on the Robinson's fruit squash, aren't you? Good. That was apple and blackcurrant double strength concentrate for anyone on the audio podcast.
Yeah.
Right, let's move.
You know, the other day, Keith. The other day, I saw 4 times strength, and it blew my mind. Did not know they did that.
Oh,
Right.
I love the show.
Before this descends into more craziness, that's the wrong descriptive.
Mediocrity.
Let's move on to the quiz. And
It's quiz
because
time.
Mitch and Matt replaced me with an AI quiz last week, this quiz is all about quizzes in games and AI in games.
Oh, nice. Only you would be able to top that shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well
Well done, my friend.
And the other thing you won't get from an AI is stakes. So, Mitch, you can play this as Mitch versus everyone, and we'll just carry on like we would normally. Or you can team up with your co-conspirator. If you do, and you lose the quiz today, the Bethesda curse will be extended for 3 months into 2023.
Oh, fuck that. No, I'm not. No.
It's a gamble.
No, I'm not taking the risk. It's not big enough.
But if you win, the Bethesda curse ends today.
Ooh.
As much as I would love to stop talking about my favorite series of video games until December 31st of 2021, I just...
22.
Sorry, 2022. Thank you for clarification. I forget what year it is nowadays. I just can't do that, Keith. I just can't.
It's because he doesn't really like me that much. That's what it is.
You know what's really funny about this?
Well, actually, let me ask Burkhoff. How confident do you feel?
And the questions, not at all. They're Keith questions. And
I know.
it was after the AI episode, so he's gonna,
No one feels confident.
Especially when he wants to fuck us up. Like it's just like I feel as if that's bait to say, I dare you to take this.
Is this some reverse psychology where I've actually made the questions easier in the sense that you'd think that I'd make them particularly hard,
Possible.
and then you no one's.
it's the drink with poison.
I
and
know.
he's
In the minds of South Park,
in the glasses.
Inconceivable.
my opponent is a liar and cannot be trusted. I'm not doing it.
Okay, right. So,
Can
Mitch,
I just say how funny it would be? Because in an alternate reality, if Starfield had come out yesterday, Mitch would be chomping at the bit, trying to get rid of his curse right now.
I would be talking about how God of War is how amazing God of War is, but have you seen that Starfield?
right. So, Mitch, normal rules apply.
Okay.
You get to choose whether to go first or second. If it ends in a tie, you automatically get the tiebreaker.
Cool.
So, do you want to go with? And we'll do questions alternately. So, I'll ask you a
First.
question, and then it's okay. First question.
Actually, this is perfect, Keith. You're right in the center, and then everyone is surrounding you. It's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
I feel surrounded.
The world.
One of
around
you's going to stick a knife in my back. Right, Mitch, I'm going to describe this, so listen carefully. I am the world's first successful, wholly autonomous AI who eventually turned against my creators, Majestic 12, What AI am I?
Am I naming the game or am I naming the AI?
You're naming the AI.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Do you want me? I can give you a hint.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's the AI antagonist from the original Deus Ex game.
Oh, I have no idea. That is...
Yeah.
I submit, I do not know.
I can, Matt, I thought you'd know this.
I don't remember. I was thinking Shodan, but that's System Shock 2.
It's
Liam.
Daedalus,
Oh,
Yeah, I wouldn't have
which
done
is
that.
the AI from Deus Ex. Fabulous game. Team Everyone. The first Dr. Kawashima game was released in what year?
What game?
Dr. Kawashima's brain training. How old is your brain?
Oh, okay.
I
okay.
could guess.
Liam, DS. What year was the DS released?
Wasn't that 2004?
2000.
Should watch our quiz last week.
Burkhoff. Are you
2000,
thinking?
2004, 2006.
So did that game release the year? That must have been a release in tandem with the DS, right?
I don't know if it released in tandem, but I'm sure it was definitely out in the first year.
Okay, so I think
I remember my dad buying it for me.
Need an
oh,
answer?
we might as well throw it out. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
06?
2004?
Oh, all right.
Or whenever the DS was released. Liam, I leave it up to you.
Okay. I'm down with myself. I'll say 2004. It's going to be 2005. 2004.
It's 2005.
Oh, should have split the difference. I was on
That's all
06.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close.
Right, Mitch, your next question. Professor Layton had a crossover game in 2012 with which famous video game lawyer?
God damn it.
Yeah, that's easy.
I know this one.
Yeah, I know it.
Professor who?
Professor
Professor
Layton.
Layton.
Why does that name seem familiar?
He's had a series of mystery and puzzle games,
Yeah. Just
why.
a nice guy.
one of which came out in 2012, where it was a crossover with a famous video game lawyer.
Ace Attorney?
Who's also known as...
I don't know his name. I never played it.
Objection.
I don't know. I don't know the lawyer's name.
Evan?
Wait, can I give him another clue?
No.
No.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Mr. Phoenix Wright.
It was Phoenix Wright.
You probably would have got it. That was too easy of a clue.
Damn it, that's right. His name
Where
is
are you going in December, Mitch?
Oh,
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
See, I still want to
Right?
get it because I wouldn't even been like, where am I going in December?
He would have been like, "What does Phoenix have to do with the game?"
Okay, Team Everyone. Which iconic board game, originally launched in 1979, has had 2 PC and console releases, the most recent one being in VR?
VR.
Magic Twister in VR.
What? Okay, so it can't be something like
It's a board
chess, right? Or something. So
No.
79.
game.
Was it
Right.
79?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm thinking the game of life.
That's what I was
You know.
thinking.
Oh.
Have the VR version though.
I don't know. I mean, I assume Milton Bradley's releasing stuff in VR.
It would be a terribly boring VR game if this released in VR.
Really?
Yes.
1979. I have no idea. That was my guess.
Have a guess at iconic board games.
Better than mine.
I have one in mind.
Liam, do you have anything? 79.
Snakes and ladders. Nah. I don't know.
Snakes
That would be
and
wrong.
ladders? Shoots and ladders. Is it
Mitch, do you-
Monopoly?
It's
I'm just
Trivial
imagining VR.
Pursuits.
Trivial Pursuit.
Oh.
Okay,
In VR, that's so weird.
that
Yeah,
is
which is why I
bad.
said it would be really boring.
Yeah. Bloody
Mitch, a question where having Matt on your team would have helped significantly. In the original Marvel Ultimate Alliance game, you are challenged by which acronymed named Marvel villain to answer 4 questions before progressing?
I might know this.
Shit, why? I feel like I know this, but I'm blanking on the acronym. It's not Hive. Oh, what's that? What's that freaking? Is it Hive? No, wait.
Can you repeat the question, Keith?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Hive.
It's MODOK.
Yeah, MODOK. I was thinking
MODOK's an
War.
acronym?
Yep.
Oh,
Matt, would you like to?
I would
so-
have. Damn it! I would have did MODOK if I thought he wasn't an acronym. I thought he was just a character.
Hold on, let me take this Marvel shirt off because I don't know the acronym of MODOK.
You know? Well, I'm surprised you haven't got a tattoo of it.
No,
It's
no.
in the new Marvel game, literally.
Yes, it's
It's something like machine only for
it's like
something
Atom
something
or something like
killing,
that.
killing. Yeah.
It's mental organism designed only for killing.
Okay, crazy. I didn't know MODOK was a acronym. If I didn't know that, I would have guessed MODOK.
Yeah, you were thinking Hydra.
No,
Right, team.
No, he said Hive, and Hive is like the group that creates MODOK. Well,
Oh,
in the
okay.
Marvel's.
Yeah,
Avengers
that's what I
video.
thought he was talking about. Like the people creating
he was kinda
MODOK,
close.
not MODOK. So that's on me.
It also got MODOK got his own Disney show.
Ugh.
Uh,
It's a baby show. It's a bad show. Don't watch it.
For babies. Yeah.
It's for babies.
team, everyone, listen carefully. I'm going to describe a character. I want you to name them. I am an assassination droid obsessed with killing meat bags. What is my name?
Oh no!
What is this from?
What is the
Is this
meat bag?
it's KOTOR,
Yeah.
or KOTOR 2. But I can't remember what the fuck his name is.
I was thinking Fallout New Vegas, but I think you're right.
Meat bags. Is that a fantasy?
HK something. There's a number. It's HK11 or something.
You
Would
might as well
is
throw
that-
that
Is
out.
that your final answer, or would you like to change your or something?
Let's go HK11.
It's HK47.
No, fuck, man. You're really close. I appreciate you.
Don't you remember when? Did you remember that game 21? That movie 21? When they give you an opportunity to change your answer, your probability goes higher when you change the answer.
Well, I couldn't think of another number. I was like, God damn it, I don't remember
Just
what
throw
the,
another
what the
fucking
number
number
is.
out there. It's not 11. Because 11
What game? What game was
So
this?
it was from KOTOR.
It was the first one or the
one-
second one?
Yeah,
Or was he in
it's the
both?
first one.
Okay.
No, it wasn't in both. It was the first one. It's one of the most interesting characters. Actually,
Yeah.
and then you never hear about it ever again. But someone wrote a really interesting backstory to what happens to the droid between the two games.
Oh, really?
It's probably a more interesting story than what happens in the second game. Mitch, your last question, and I hope you were listening earlier because someone may have already mentioned the answer. What is the name of the evil AI villain from System Shock?
Oh, fuck. I didn't listen when he was saying that. I knew he said it, but I didn't hear it. Oh.
Karma for not listening to Matt.
Oh, my God. I don't know. I knew he said something from like the AI. The name flew by me so quickly I didn't have time to internalize it. Fuck. I need Matt on my team. I would have fucking won and would have had the curse gone.
Matt, do you want to say it one more time?
Shodan.
It was Jodan.
Yeah.
Right, team, everyone. Trisha Helfer played the AI character in Mass Effect EDI, but what does EDI stand for?
Come on, Mass Effect people. You call yourself Mass Effect fans. You don't even know what ED stands for.
I don't know.
Watch, all their faces just went horribly wrong when they're like, Mass Effect, I know this answer. And then you just said, what does it stand for? And they all go, fuck me.
Yeah, they thought it was just going to be what name the character. Oh
Right.
yeah, I know that. That's well easy. No, it's never that easy.
Is it something data interface?
No, because it was with an E, not an S. So I'll give you one more guess.
Matt, you got anything? ED
No.
acronym?
It's just she says it as soon as you meet her.
It is EDI, but I don't. Yeah.
Is it like a executive directive or something dumb like that?
I'll put you out of your misery. It is Enhanced Defense Intelligence.
I wouldn't have done that.
Okay.
Right, we have a bonus question. So we'll take this in turns. At the end of Mass Effect 3, and this is from the DLC ending, there are options that you can take to end the game. Name any of the options. Mitch, you can choose to start first or go second now.
I'm going to go second.
You've got to name all of the endings.
So you get one go, and then Mitch will have a go, and then you can have another go.
Not the original, but the DLC.
So not the original, but
party.
the DLC one. So this is at the end of Mass Effect 3, where you meet the artificial intelligence. You're given choices of how you want to end the game.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will go first. I thought you meant the one with the party with everybody, like that DLC ending. Because people attribute that to be the real ending. But anyway, I'll do the first one.
Okay, I mean, name an ending.
Extermination.
I'll accept that. It's destroy.
Okay.
I'll
I
accept
went more
extermination.
fancy.
So team everyone, your guess.
I think we should go with synthesis.
Oh, well, I was going to say we can save that one for last. Yeah, synthesis.
Synthesis is correct. Mitch, there are two more.
Sorry, hold on. I'm adjusting people's scores really quick.
Yeah, good point. Sorry, Bojo. He was being smart.
Do nothing.
It is an option. I didn't expect you to get this one. Yep, do nothing is an option. And then the last one for team everyone.
The correct ending.
Liam?
Control.
Is correct.
I don't know if that's the correct ending.
Yeah, I
think
disagree
so.
with you.
Yeah, I didn't expect you guys to get the do nothing option, which continues the cycle of AI.
No, I thought it was impressive that Mitch got that. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
I told you I like Mass Effect, bro.
Well, you have my respect, god damn you.
I may or may not done that ending like 4 times just to figure out all the possible ending options when I did that in college.
It's fun.
Yeah, I quite like the way that ends in a do nothing option, where the AI just walks away and says the cycle continues, and then it just shows everyone getting killed.
Yeah,
That's in there. I will not make a choice about whether or not people should be synthesized with organic and artificial intelligences. I will not control this massive race of super spaceship AIs. Why would you not want to do that? Or I will not blow them up. And it's like, okay, everyone dies then. Great.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the end of the quiz, and the scores are Mitch 9, Team Everyone 11.
nothing changed.
So
it's literally
nothing changes.
Nothing changes. It literally is a 2-point difference. The only questions we actually got were your bonus questions.
Oh, well, if you'd had Matt on your team, you would have won.
It's true.
I mean, the quiz it's not over. We still got 2 months left.
Just saying, you would have won this round. Bethesda Curse would have gone, and Evan wouldn't be drinking himself to sleep. What do we want to talk about now for the remainder of the 45 minutes that we've got on the show?
We didn't even discuss about this.
What has everyone been playing? Mitch and I both went. We talked about what we've been playing. What's everybody else been playing?
I have something second I can talk about too.
Just going to go switch some lights on.
Okay.
I guess I can start. The second game I played and I put down and I haven't gotten to touch ever again, and I don't know if I actually will touch, which is really unfortunate because I feel like I'm a little shocked that I'm saying this. A Plague Tale Requiem.
I'm not shocked
It's
by
annoying,
that.
as everyone's been saying, because I've watched Game Face where Matt and Shane were shitting on it. I listened to the Podquisition where Steph Sterling was saying how disappointed she is after loving the original so much. This kind of tries to do more but achieves less.
I think I would agree with that answer. I tried. I really, really, really tried. I got like 4 hours in, and it is just I don't know what they did to really like. I'm sorry, but they whine all the time, and it is just annoying. And it's just like, I get that the character, the Amicia, is concerned for her brother, but like there is a point where where it's like you can't have that be so annoying it turns you off as the player. Like I understand her concerns about the situation you're in, but then like to just constantly hear it every single second, every single cutscene is just whining, and I'm so sick of it. It is just, I didn't think they did that because like even in the original game, the first game, I don't recall her doing this much complaining, and it is just so frustrating. And then the stealth mechanics are really good. They're really good. There's just a lot of it. And like, yes, the first game was super stealthy. I thought it would evolve to a little bit something more, and it just didn't make that step that I was hoping it would make into something where it was more of a stealth action game than just a stealth game, where it's just, yes, it's still a really stealth game with more tools, but the tools aren't as mind changing or as gameplay changing as I expected them to be. I've been disappointed.
I'm not sure I'd be able to play that because there was this joke about World War II films, and you've got the two people dressed up as German soldiers, and they say, "Why are we speaking English?" So I'm not sure I'd be able to put up with the people in medieval France all with English accents.
I mean, maybe you could do. I didn't look into the
play
options,
with subtitles in French.
Subtitles, or maybe they have voice actors in French, like voice.
Yeah,
especially
they could sound pretty French
because you have the you have the European version. So like, depending on your region, there might be options to have a dubbed version in French, and you could do English.
Yeah, I'm
subtitles.
not going to play it, so it's not going to matter.
So, but it's on Game Pass, Keith. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I had it installed. I had Scorn installed. I heard they were both shit, so I uninstalled both of them.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be that disappointed, and I was just really disappointed. It's unfortunate because I really wanted to know what happened, so I think I might go watch a YouTube video, which is so sad. I can't believe I'm doing that, but like, it's just, I have no choice. It's that bad. It's sorry, I shouldn't say bad. It's just not for me anymore. That's probably a better phrase, because it's not a bad game. It's good. It's like a good stealth game. People like stealth games. They're gonna have a party with this one, but it's just there's many things that just turned me off. And to know that was bigger and to have it be longer. And I'm sorry. Last thing, the first 4 hours, almost nothing happens. That's the other part is like I wanted the story to really move a little more here with some urgency and agency here, and nothing was moving. Like it just was so slow, slower than the first one. I was just shocked.
It's a linear level based game, right?
Yeah.
And nothing happens, like even though you're just being driven towards a specific direction.
Okay, here's the first 4 hours. Just like nothing spoilery happens, but basically you get to a new town, and basically
Evan's doing an impression of a horse.
Sorry. Did that pick up?
You get to a new town.
We've gotten more than one yawn from you.
Sorry. All right, I'm gonna turn this off till I. All right, off.
But the first 4 hours literally has you like tutorial on all the mechanics. You're traveling to a new town. Some raiders catch you, and you just have to like get to the town. You get to the town. You find a dude, and then he tells you, "Oh, I need these plants. Go get them for me." You go get these plants. You go back to the place. They tell you, "Oh, we need to go on a boat and leave." You go to the boat, and that's where I stopped. That was almost 4 hours of gameplay.
Okay.
That's just not, no agency, no movement. That's not enough for something that's so story dependent. Sorry.
The main criticism that I think I remember listening to on the Podquisition was Steph was saying the first game, the stealth mechanics and the setting seemed to blend very well together because it was quite a claustrophobic game. Mm-hmm. So if you were in a house and there were two soldiers in a house, you need to navigate that, and there's only so much you can do within that.
Yeah.
Whereas now they've opened it up, it's turned into a more boring stealth game.
Yes.
Because
agreed.
There's no...
The open spaces doesn't do much better. It doesn't make it better.
It doesn't add anything.
No, it doesn't, because there's still like there's only like 2 to 3 paths that you can take. Like it's just not enough.
Yeah, and you lose that sense of kind of oppressiveness of
yes,
we're being hunted by soldiers and we need to protect ourselves and be careful with everything that we do. Don't make any noise. Whereas this is kind of, as you've opened the space up, you've made the stealth easier but also more boring.
It also encourages you to experiment even more, which is a good thing, but at the same time you make more mistakes and then you die more, and then it takes longer to get through levels.
Right. So I'm going to move on to Evan. Here's a neat segue for you. Evan and Matt, you would very much both love this beer. This is the Imperial Red Ale.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It's also dangerous because it doesn't taste like an Imperial.
All right.
So Evan, here's a neat segue for you. I was using the power of Game Pass, and I started playing Moonscars, and I got about 45 minutes in before I just went, nope.
Yeah, that was me. That was me too. As soon as you die and you lose everything, and you got to go back to that place to pick that shit up, I was like, nope, I'm out.
It's almost like Game Pass isn't worth the money.
I mean, there is another Metroidvania that's on there that might be good. I haven't spent any time with it, but Ghost Song came out, and that looks pretty good.
Let me tell you right now, Game Pass is worth the money because I only paid $1 to play a Plague Tag Requiem because I didn't play Game Pass. I closed my Game Pass and didn't use it for 3 months, and then they give me $1 deal again. You just gotta know how to work the system, bro. You just gotta play it for 1 month. That's all you need, and then don't touch it for 3 months. Resubscribe, get $1 again, and then Game Pass is worth every penny.
I do the same thing with Audible. It works really great.
You can get them. I found that I could get a month's free Game Pass if you have a terrible customer service experience with Xbox support and have to complain. And they'll give you a month's free Game Pass.
Oh, lovely.
You say give me 3 months and you got a deal.
But you also have to have a very terrible, poor experience with Microsoft customer service.
Which has been all of my experiences with Microsoft support.
How's your experience with Sony support?
Non-existent.
Because
Actually, the one time I engaged with Sony support was to get a refund for Anthem because I wanted to play the beta, and they just said, "Yeah, sure, fine, we'll credit your account." I was like, "Great, thanks very much."
The PlayStation support is not the same as it was back then. Just gonna say,
Okay.
it's
So
not. It's
Evan-
like they just removed it.
Elon Musk removing all of Twitter's staff. Evan, have you played Moonscars? Because I know you've got to pay for it, but is it on one of the PlayStation tiers that I'm assuming that you cry into your pillow every night for not having Game Pass?
Unfortunately, it is not. But it is purchasable. However, looking at if I buy an Xbox Series S in Japan, the games that I would be able to play would pretty much make up the amount I'm spending on the S rather quickly. So I'm actually leaning towards, I dare not say it, but I will. Just Microsoft and Microsoft system in my household. How dare I? How dare anyone? Yeah. So I have not played Moonscars, but I have seen it on Game Pass, and yeah, I think I might be leaning towards actually buying a Microsoft console. It's
And on that bombshell,
Evan, I'm gonna warn you right now. I'm just gonna warn you. Do not get the S. By all means, do not get the S.
I have to go for the X.
You have to go for the X.
I have to spend that much more money.
Because I'm telling you right now, developers are complaining about the S, and eventually support for the S will be dropped. So you got to go for X.
Well, you can play a lot of shit through the cloud though too.
But Evan doesn't. But have you seen Evan's internet? He pauses on the show all the time.
Well, that's talking to us. I don't know.
Not just basically get some low effort ports of games run at like 720p. So I don't think they feasibly can drop support for it.
And plus,
that was the Xbox One, wasn't it? The 720p machine.
But I also
speaking of which, I'll get onto that in a bit.
But I think Evan, you as a one that wants to play the game, yeah, you gotta get an X if you're gonna do that.
You would notice the difference on your TV for sure.
Yes,
but
that's what I was just about to say. The S would look shit on your OLED.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That might change his mind now.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now.
Which I got a second follow-up question for Evan. How do you feel about Callisto Protocol not coming to Japan at all? Because they do not want to bother to make a regional version that doesn't include things like nudity, too much gore. I could list all the things that your country does not want in your video games.
That sounds like that anime I watched the other day.
Yeah.
Japan is a very confusing country.
It's a very confusing country. Liam, what anime did you watch, and what happened in that anime?
I am joking, but there are
just name any anime that's got nudity and violence.
Giant boobs, maybe an upskirt shot. Yeah.
But they pixelate a certain portion of that breast that's naked.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Imagination.
I edge run
because that's just a little too far. How do you feel about that, Evan?
No, it's frustrating. Well, also Japan doesn't know how the internet works, so I have my US account, which I could buy the game on if I want to.
Oh, there you go.
But Mitch, I think maybe I had we've spoken about this, or maybe I had released a video on Twitter, but there are very weird decapitation laws when it comes to video games in Japan. So there's something that I'd said in our Discord where in what's his name, Bill's town in The Last of Us. Yeah. So you finally meet him. It's like this whole, you're leading up to meet him, and then you finally run into him, and you're going through a diner, and he has had traps that will basically they come down in the windows, and there's a zombie in a trap, and as you're talking with him, he cuts the head off a
Chops the head
zombie.
off. Yep.
And
Talking about Tess.
Yeah. Yep. And in the Japanese version, he swipes through the zombie's head and it does not fall off.
Yep.
And it's so weird. Like, that's where you draw the line. I don't understand what this law. That's.
I feel
It's so strange. It's so arbitrary that there's some sort of arbitrary dismemberment law when it comes to video games in Japan. So I'm guessing that's
It could be worse. You could be in Australia where you cannot buy M-rated games.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
They're illegal. Except the Australian government also don't know how the internet works, and people can just buy an internet account.
Yeah, just get an account in some other region and download and play the game there. So, but I'm guessing they know that that's going to happen. It's like, hey, just based on the laws that we have, you can't release the game here. Blah 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 blah. So everyone else is going to get the game in other regions. It's dumb, for sure.
So
Have you been playing anything?
Out of touch old people in charge.
Oh God, that's the entirety of Japan is out of touch old people doing things.
I feel like that's the whole world right now, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you feel it more in Japan because it's like, oh, we're making the decision for Japanese people, and then I'm just left to the side, which I get.
Video gaming beer podcast is in a fucking travel show.
Do you understand? I guess Evan. I'm sorry, but like now people understand why young people don't vote, because all the old people just make these stupid laws that everyone goes like, that makes no sense to us.
Dude,
Yes,
people.
that's a reductive argument, because if you take that view, then people will only make rules and laws and decisions based on what they think the old people who vote will like, and then ignore mass swathes of the population. So my response to that would be vote and make your voice heard through whatever means you can, social media, protest, whatever.
Agreed.
And then things will change, and you'll see socio-economic improvement. But what do I know? Evan, have you been playing any fucking video games?
Because he's been trying to ask you the question like 3 times.
Yeah. Deathloop. So I don't like roguelike elements in games, so that is a huge minus. But Deathloop is a very good game, regardless of how I feel about the roguelike elements. And
you will change your mind when you hit the ending.
No, I finished it, dude. Yeah. I beat it 3 times now to try to get the 3 separate endings.
Turn you off?
No, I don't. I think the ending pretty much tells you what you need to know about what happened.
No, wait. There's something you both need to know. Since you've played it recently, they've changed the ending. They've added stuff to it, so you may be talking from 2 very different perspectives.
She's not his daughter anymore?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't played it.
Spoilers.
Okay, so as of today,
the entire game, and you find out she's his daughter. Like, what the hell?
You find that out before you beat the game. So thanks for ruining it for the 3 people, including me and MWII, as listeners on Twitch.
Wait, but you beat it.
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, so. I think the game is great. I think it's held back by some of its roguelike elements because I don't like roguelikes. However, when it comes to like Dishonored 2, Prey, and this, they are masters of putting these intricate levels that are so small but feel bigger because of the verticality and the, I guess you might want to say, horizontal spread of the levels. There you go. And whatever immersive, not immersive sims, whatever subgenre you want to label these games as, Arcane has such a great vision when it comes to this stuff, and I'm sad that they decided to go the roguelike element with it. However, I'm really, really excited to see what they do next because, man, they're so good at creating amazing, unique, interesting games. And I'm talking about a game that I don't really like that much, but they're just so good at doing it that there's something about it that I can't stay away from, where I think about it constantly. So yeah, I think Deathloop is a really, really great game that doesn't mess with me well, but it's still a really, really good game.
It's on Game Pass as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I need to move over. I need to cut ties with Sony. Those greedy cunts.
Don't
Can I
cut
say
ties
cunt?
with them because we'll quickly switch to Liam, but then I'm going to shit all over Xbox first party games for a little while. Liam, have you been playing anything interesting?
Oh, I was just saying that when they put it on Game Pass, that's when they added a bunch of new stuff, including they like changed the endings or something like that. But yeah, I've been playing quite a lot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 from 2022, not the original one. And I really like it. One of the things about me is I wasn't a huge fan of the reboot that happened in 2019. I didn't like that game. I thought it had some very bad mechanics. The gameplay was too slow. A lot of the maps were very uninteresting and not very creative. But I like this game a lot more. I think it's got a few weird things about it. Every Call of Duty seems to do that. But the map design's really cool. Like
This time
there's
it's
this one.
price.
The price.
Yes.
I mean, I suppose I want to talk. I paid for the special edition, so.
Oh, Liam, what are you doing?
I mean,
You're part of the problem.
I play it all the time with my friends, so I might as well just get the special edition. I think I looked at it the other day. I put over 1,000 hours into Modern Warfare 1.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's like I'm going to be playing this game for a couple of years, and you know, it's a pittance considering the amount of time I'll put into it. But yeah, like there's this one map that a lot of people are complaining about, but I love it because it's so creative and interesting. It's like you're in the middle of a Mexican border between Mexico and the US, and there's basically a traffic jam leading up to the borders. And basically, most of the map consists of abandoned cars and the border checking, and a lot of people find it very confusing. But once you get used to it, it's like such a creative map, and use the cars against people. Because when you throw grenades over one side of the map to the other, it blows up the vehicles. So you know, if you're a smart person, you stick to the sides, and the longer the map's been going, the more people are developing strategies to get around all of this stuff. And
Yeah,
this
because
is one of the most interesting maps ever.
There was a video of one guy on TikTok that someone shared on a different Discord. Yes, I am on multiple Discords.
How dare you cheat us with another Discord?
Where this poor bastard is playing this multiplayer map, and he just spawns in the same spot for 60 seconds, and the cars blow up all around him, and so he just dies over and over and over again for 60 seconds. So there are some quirks with the multiplayer that maybe people should be looking at. So the spawn points might be something that should get tweaked.
That happened to me as well, but they fixed it pretty quickly, so I can't. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't find that in testing. Like, that's a pretty easy one to find, as like you'd be like, I would just want to blow up all the cars. Like, let me just blow up the cars for fun and see what happens as people die. Like,
yeah, exactly. So every Call of Duty game has to have like all of these problems at launch. Where you're like, how did they not figure this out? You know, before the game comes out, and then like a week or two into the game's release, everything's fine. Definitely overreacts about it. It's Yeah, but this game's great. I really like it. The gameplay is super fast, and as much as people complained about Vanguard last year, I thought the gameplay loop in that game was fantastic. I just agree with people that it didn't feel like a World War II shooter, because it did not.
But you had hollow sites and red dot sites and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that, which why you would not have that in a World War II setting.
Exactly.
And UAVs, which they called
made
spotter planes to try and get around it. But people have got used to the mechanics of the Modern Warfare reboot, so they don't want to change it too much because it would put people off. Because as much as all the whiny bitches in the COD community think, we want something new, give us something new. Loads of people I've seen online, loads of people are complaining they don't have the shipment map. Well, that was from a different game, you dickheads. They're going to have different maps. We want shipment back. And so just shut up, you bunch of whiny bitches. Anyway, that's my capsule review of what I've seen from
I just say it's so hilarious that you bring that up, because Shipment is like one of the worst maps in Call of Duty history.
It's terrible.
It's awful. It's so bad, and fans love it because you can grind XP so fast playing that map because it's so small. Sometimes you'll spawn and there's an enemy already behind you with the gun pointed directly at your head. And it's a ridiculous map. And they've already caved the fan pressure, and they're adding it in next week into the game yet again. It's annoying.
Whilst we're on the topic of Activision, did you see the news that Activision Blizzard have written to all of their employees again after another group of QA testers won the right to unionize, to say, we'd rather negotiate with all of you individually rather than as a collective. We believe that individual negotiations is better, work better for the workforce, or some bullshit like that.
So Bobby Kotick.
Well, Bobby Kotick has given another 50 grand to a Republican politician who basically wants to outlaw homosexuality. So that's Bobby.
He's throwing his grenades while he's walking away.
Well done, Bobby. You've won capitalism, and now you're just being a horrible human being.
Before I let you go on your rant, your second rant, Keith, about the game you're playing, I just wanted to say, Deathloop has almost been out for a year. Me saying that thing is not a massive spoiler to the game. Don't worry about it. But I just like warning people because the tones of flirtation between a guy and a girl when the girl knows she's his father is a little bit incestual, and it's a little inappropriate in my opinion. It's weird. It's really weird, and and a couple of people I've talked to say it made them feel really uncomfortable once they found out the relationship between the two characters, because comes off as they read it as very flirtatious of romanticism, which then came off as incest, and it was just really strange. So not saying they go that far of doing it. It's just I'm saying is just like it's going to be uncomfortable when you play and find out. So just like I'm giving you a heads up now, like that is a theme that is played with.
And another sense of irony about
comment to make on that. I have one comment to make on that.
Yeah.
French developers. Fuck.
Okay.
So Keith, what have you been playing?
I just got one extra comment to make about Activision Blizzard, which is in the supreme sense of irony, because Activision Blizzard have their accounts in Holland, so they don't have to pay tax in the UK. They are being sued by a city, or is it a individual street or something, because the likeness in the game of this location looks so like the actual place they don't want to be associated with the game.
Wow.
So they're suing
the
them.
hotel.
Yeah, it's the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to be associated with the game. So that's somewhat ironic.
Keith, they're also being sued by a museum for apparently, basically they had a map in the beta, the game, really good map, that's at a museum. I can't remember the name of the museum. It's a famous museum. Apparently they put that museum in the game without asking and getting permission to use that museum in the game. So they removed it from the full game, and now they're being sued by them. So, Activision Blizzard, man.
Yeah, can you really change them that much even if they do get purchased by Microsoft?
Cutting corners so that they can pay off politicians.
Yeah,
getting rid of the board would help.
Yeah, that was the other funny thing about the statement that they sent out. It was saying we'd rather not have decisions made about how Activision Blizzard works made by a small group of people. It's like you've got 7 people on your board making all the decisions. So you hypocritical bastards. Yes, so let's shit on Microsoft first party for a moment. So I've been using Game Pass, and I thought, you know what, I need a good podcast game. So I installed Rise: Son of Rome, and I installed Recall Ultimate Edition. And as much as I love the robot dog in Recall, it is quite possibly one of the most boring, generic pieces of shit that I've played in a very long time. Rise: Son of Rome is ugly. It controls badly. And it is a boring, repetitive piece of shit. And I can quite happily say how glad I was that I swapped from Xbox to PlayStation in the PS4 generation, because the Microsoft first-party stuff that I've played using Game Pass just to see what it was like has been utterly atrocious. It's god awful. I would never recommend anyone to play anything. 720p is the most that you will get on those games, even upscaled using the Series X. There's Rise: Son of Rome. The cutscenes are such poor quality. If you were watching them even on an LED or an LCD display, they would still look shit. But watching them on a 4K HDR machine just makes it that much more stark how bad the game looks. So it just goes back to the decisions that were being made as we're going to make a multimedia machine rather than a games machine. It's just such a terrible, terrible choice that was made. Choices that were made at that time. Recall isn't bad. It's just boring. So I don't know if that's as damning an indictment as it could be. Whereas Rise: Son of Rome is just bad. It's poorly written. The voice acting is bad. There's no you have no affinity to any of the characters. I was actively trying to get my Legionnaires killed, just to see if anything interesting happened. Spoiler: it doesn't. So everyone has the same English accent, which is weird for a game set in ancient Rome. How they've tried to contrive the story about what happened in Saxon Britain. I just got to the point of I don't care. This is just the gameplay is so janky. The motion blur on it and the camera shake, you can't turn it off. It's actually off-putting, and you can't turn it off. Whereas Recall is it's kind of one of the blandest games that I've played in such a long time. The controls are quite floaty. I would have liked to have progressed to unlock the different robot companions, but it's just such a grind to try and get there, and the environments are boring. The monster designs are either somewhat interesting to hugely frustrating, because they all have different weaknesses, and if you don't have the relevant upgrade to deal with their weakness, you can't do anything. It just comes up immune. So all you've got to do is run away. That's nice. I've got no idea how many hours I would have to plow in to the game to unlock that thing, to then go back to this area to defeat the same monsters that I was fighting earlier, but these ones are immune to anything but yellow energy.
It's a Metroidvania, Keith. You gotta keep going to unlock the new stuff, to get to new stuff, to get to new things, to get to new things.
There was nothing rewarding about that gameplay loop, and that's the thing. Is it once you've done it a few times, it's like, oh no, this is the entire game. That's it. It's just collect stuff, upgrade, kill stuff, collect stuff, upgrade. That's the entire gameplay loop. Oh dear. Uninstall.
Both of those
You
games
know-
came out during the Don Matrick era, right?
Yeah, they were the two launch games for the Xbox One.
I don't think
And they
Recore
all-
was a launch game.
Recall
was not a
wasn't.
launch
Recall
game.
came
It
out
was,
2 years
I think it
later.
was supposed to be, right? And then they delayed it.
It was announced at launch.
No.
It was
Yeah,
announced
just
at launch.
announced at launch?
It was
Well,
never
announced
actually
at
a
launch,
game.
and then they
Yeah,
released
Rise,
it like 2
Rise
to 3
Son of
years
Rome
later.
was a launch game, though, wasn't
Rise
it?
was,
Yeah.
yes. Rise
Yeah.
was a launch game. It
Piece
was
of shit, don't play it.
meant to be their answer to like God of War at the time. The old God of War games.
It's so bad. Oh my
I
god,
just-
it's so bad.
I mean, Sony's got the Ghost of Sparta. Let's give them a real Spartan.
Well, the thing was, you know a game is going to be shit when you pause. You load the game up, and a cutscene, little bit of tutorial, cutscene, and then a little bit more tutorial. And I paused the game, and it said I was 16% through the first level, and most of that time was watching cutscenes.
Yeah.
There's 2 tutorials. There's 2 fighting tutorials. So who thought this was a good idea? So you play through the tutorial, and then that's the end of the first level. And then because it's segmented into story, you go back in time to before the start of the game, where you meet up with your father and you repeat the fighting tutorial again. It's like, I've just done this. What the fuck are you doing? Is it whoever thought that game was a good idea? You and I are never going to see eye to eye.
It's interesting to me, but the way that you talk about it, because it really puts into perspective how much better the quality assurance and just just game oversight is at Sony compared with, or Nintendo compared with something like Microsoft.
Well,
it's like
Sony
the one-
allow Black Tiger on their platform for sale, so let's.
What do you mean?
That game is an asset flip from Unreal Assets.
Oh,
And
I see.
So I see what you mean about Sony first party.
I mean,
but
first party, not in terms of their store supervision, which is
Yeah.
ghastly. Yeah, but in terms of the products that they make and the games that they publish, that like they just, I mean, like they have famous stories about Shuei Yoshida going into into Sucker Punch Productions, playing Ghost of Tsushima, and then telling the developers that this is shit.
Oh yeah,
You know,
he's
things like that.
he's had
Yeah.
meetings where he's gone into studios and
Yeah.
he has like, he literally says nothing and that's a bad thing, and they're all like, he goes away, he comes back, and then they say, oh yeah, Shuhei's got notes, and it was not good. It was not good.
I just
What was
worry
the- what was
that
the,
Xbox doesn't have somebody that actually plays their games through.
They
And,
do.
You know, like when you're invested in a games project, you're like all over it, and you can't see like the flaws that the game has that would be right in front of your face if you weren't the one working on it.
They do. His name's Matt Booty.
Yeah, but
to
you
give
don't-
you, to give some context for how I feel about those 2 games, oh Christ, I can't remember the name of the Guerrilla Games Shooty Bang Bang franchise.
Killzone.
Killzone. I would rather play. What was the one that launched with the PS4?
Shadowfall.
Shadowfall. I would rather play Killzone Shadowfall to platinum completion than complete either Rise Son of Rome or Recall on easy.
Mm-hmm.
And people consider Shadowfall to be a bad game for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that gives you some context on how shit those games are.
And
Evan really needs to go to bed.
I know.
He does.
That's why
I feel bad. I think he already has gone to bed, actually.
And that's why I said the stuff I said about, like, Matt Booty is responsible for this stuff. Like, he needs to do his job. He's not doing his job effectively. Find someone that will do the job effectively.
He wasn't in charge then. That was
Well, he
so-
was.
no.
He was underneath Phil Spencer, who was in charge then.
Yes, and he's been in charge of first party studios for like 6 years. He's had plenty of time to like help get these studios up and running, ready to go. And he dropped the ball with Infinite. Like, the dude dropped the ball with Infinite. He's been there since they started Infinite, and he's dropped the ball with Infinite. It's just like, doesn't make no sense.
This may shock people, but I've always agreed with Mitch that For everything bar the Xbox 360, Microsoft have been absolutely shocking when it comes to first party, and I can't see any way that they are going to get out of that. And the telling thing is, I don't think they could see a way that they were going to get out of it. So, as Mitch would say, they just spent mummy's money or daddy's money, and have just bought a load of studios to help them out, because their first party content has been woeful.
But that's the problem. The problem is that's not going to solve the problem, because Matt Booty is still in charge of all those studios and managing all those studios. And if he can't manage a regular first party lineup studios, and I'm being critical of someone that I don't know fully of their job requirements and all that kind of stuff. I understand that, but based off my information,
well, if you're in charge of Xbox Studios,
yeah, but
other than Horizon, other than Forza,
right.
You've shit the bed.
Right.
You've shit down your leg and then walked that into the bed, just trampled that shit all over the carpet, and then woke up in the morning and pissed on the floor.
At least people speak highly of Gears 5, I suppose.
I think Gears 5 they did pretty good. Yeah.
It was all right.
It's like at least shows signs of improvement. At least.
Improvement, but that's not enough for how long that they've had with these properties.
I feel about Gears 5 the way Evan felt about that golden nail. It was okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'll say I give them the props for the attempt, and they succeeded in the most part. But like, I feel like it was just a good B tier title for trying to be. It was trying to be A tier where it was still B tier, because I think unfortunately Gears, I think, is. Because they had to like go off their story they already created with Gears 4, Gears 5 was already having its hand tied behind its back, because Gears 4 story is not very good.
One game I have been enjoying, and then we'll finish with Matt, and hopefully Evan hasn't passed out on the stairs.
I was going to ask if you guys wanted me to disconnect him.
Oh no, just
this
keep it there.
Not running.
Game over. I like the game over in the background.
Game over forever.
So Minecraft Dungeons, I have been really enjoying playing that with my wife. So much so that it's kind of turned into a meme about what totems and artifacts we have to use. So I've been running around with a level 79 beehive. So now every chance I get, I mention bees or honey and stuff like that. So as much as people criticised it as kind of baby's first Diablo, it's a bit more than that. I would like a bit more. I would like a bit more in-level story than you get, but it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Once the difficulty ramps up, or if you try and do something you're under-leveled, you are going to get owned very quickly. The sunglasses are on. Evan, just go to sleep, mate. Fucking hell.
I was just going to disconnect you because I figured you'd already gone to bed.
No, I'm good. Continue.
We just collapsed on the stairs.
Well, weekend at Evans.
Weekend at Evans, yeah.
So we've been enjoying Minecraft Dungeons so much, I actually bought the DLC pack.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, nice.
So that we can play through that.
So it's
other than that, I've been really suffering with season 15 of Apex Legends. Some of the design choices they've made to move into this season is fucking painful. I did notice one nice thing though, and it goes to show kind of very, very little the level of subtlety that developers have to go through to make games work. So there's one map where there's no wind in the game as such, but they simulate it. And on the previous season, you could see the grass texture kind of lined up in a row. So it's a flat texture, but if you're playing the game, you would never notice. But when they do these zoomed in shots of when you're loading into the map, you can see that the grass texture is flat, and the entire texture would move. So you'd see a hard surface like this is something that someone would walk on, and here's the grass, and the grass texture would actually, when the simulated wind blows, it would actually blow over the hard surface to give you that effect of wind movement on the grass. Very subtle, but I think it did make me think, why the fuck did you fix this and not some of the other stuff in the game?
Right. Okay.
Now when the wind blows, the grass texture is still flat, but it bends rather than the entire texture moving.
Nice. Very smooth. Very smooth. Burkoff, what have you been playing?
The only other thing that I've been playing is Torment: Tides of Numenera. So that's a game that's been on my list for, I don't know, probably 5 years now.
Say that 5 times
Isometric
fast.
RPG.
Such a birthday.
Yeah, and I finally, well, it's on Game Pass now, so I was like, all right, let me check it out, and it's pretty good. It's the cool thing about it is you don't have to engage in combat if you don't want. You can literally go through the entire game just talking your way through every scenario. So it's more like an interactive RPG novel than like a traditional RPG. So far, it's pretty interesting.
Sorry, Matt, are you playing on console or PC?
Console, and occasionally my Steam Deck, because I have Game Pass loaded up on that.
Evan didn't let the gas out of his last beer.
Sorry.
The reason that I asked you what you were playing it on is because I looked at installing that, and then in some of the screenshots on the game page on the Xbox Store, I saw the menus, and I thought, how the fuck do you play this with a controller?
Very easily, actually. They did a really good job. So it uses the same engine as Pillars, but the way that they've designed the controller interface is much better than the Pillars games. And you can even bump the text up to like extra large, and so it's actually visible, and you can read it from sitting on your couch.
Is it fully voiced?
No, most of it is just text. Yeah. So a game for people who like to read.
When it came out, it got really good reviews.
Yeah,
it was up there for best RPG the year it came out. But I've been somewhat put off by it, by the things like the interface, the fact that it's not voiced. Fuck it, I'm watching Squid Game finally, and I don't mind subtitles, but if there's too much. If there's too much text, I just get a little bit frustrated. So is it like Fallout in a sense where some of it's voiced and some of it is text?
Some of it is like story beat stuff, like that's important to the main quest, will be voiced. So if you run into those characters, oh, this is part of the main story that I have to follow. And I suppose it is possible to have mostly voiced if you just follow the main quest, but the beauty of those games is like how the world is, and finding all the nooks and crannies and the different characters in the world, at least for me. So yeah, most of the game for me so far, of the like 5 hours that I've played, it's just been text.
What's your build?
I have whatever their wizard or mage class is,
because of course it's you. And one of the reasons that you played it is because you get to create your own character. Is that correct?
For the most part, I mean, you start with a default, but the stuff that you put into the character is you. So you are the I forget what the title is, but it's either male or female, and you're that character, and you play that character throughout the thing. But yeah, how you interact with it depends on you.
You didn't get to fully create your character, you fucking hypocrite.
I know.
So you shit on games for not being able to create a character, and then you play this one where you start as generic male or generic female. So I'm not sure I can ever trust you again.
I don't know how long I'm going to stick with it. So far, it's interesting.
The story is meant to be great. That's what led me to thinking about installing it when I saw it on Game Pass, because I saw that was on there, and I heard this great things about the story. But then I looked at the menus online, and the pictures on the game page online, and they must be taken from the PC build, because it looked like there is no way you can play this on controller.
Maybe, yeah.
Cool.
And just as a slight aside, so when I first started watching Squid Game, which is fabulously acted. I mean, the main person in it, I've forgotten his name, who's going to be in a Star Wars, is it a movie or a series? Plays a fabulous gambling addict.
Mm-hmm.
His portrayal of someone who's got a gambling addiction is sublime. But Netflix have got to this thing of defaulting to the dubbed version rather than the foreign language with subtitles. And then I started watching it, and I was thinking the voice acting in this is shocking. I actually have to watch this with the subtitles, because the English dub is so bad. And I actually prefer to watch stuff that's foreign language with subtitles, because then you get the subtleties of the acting.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think about Ghost of Tsushima, where they did the English voice acting first and then dubbed it into Japanese, and the lip sync was all off. And I was thinking, I can't watch this, because there's this weird thing in my brain about lip sync. If the lip sync is off, I can't watch something. It just will not click with me. And that's why I wanted to play Ghost of Tsushima, bringing it back to games, in the Japanese Ishikawa mode with the Japanese dub. But the lip sync would have put me off.
Yeah.
So I never did. I know they fixed it since, but that's the reason that I didn't play that with the Japanese dub in the Ishikawa mode. Evan, go to bed.
Feel ya. Yeah. I want to just clarify one last thing really, really quick, because I did say a word that, someone could misconstrue or use in a different way. Misconstrue. I am not saying that Deathloop has incest in it whatsoever. All I'm saying is that it...
Oh, no, that didn't come across at all.
Okay, I just someone's
opinion.
I said the word, so I just have to make it abundantly clear, just for protection for myself.
So, however,
I'm just
a girl who knows that is her dad flirting with the person she knows is her dad is somewhat incestuous.
And to have the player assume, not knowing that she's his daughter, and having it come off as the player feeling like the woman is flirting with you, that's when you're crossing the line.
It's somewhat incestuous.
Yes, and it's crossing a line.
I don't like women flirting with me. It's comfortable. So men who, that's okay.
Well, Liam, you're one of the sexiest human beings I know.
Thank you. Also, just one point. I've been hearing all of this talk about this thing called Game Pass, and I suddenly realised in my brain that this game called Persona 5 Royale is on there, and I haven't heard anybody speaking about it, because surely everyone is playing it.
Because we've already played it like 4 or 5 years ago when it came out.
No, I put maybe 4 hours into the beginning.
I'm not playing it again after I pllayed the first one. I'm not going back into Royal.
You don't say anything else, Matt, you're my new favourite person in the world.
I will tell you.
On that
note. No. I was going to mention, though, if you get the upgraded version of PlayStation Plus, right now they have now did the thing that Microsoft has done with Game Pass, which is Ubisoft Plus is on there as well. So you get all Ubisoft's titles, including all the Assassin's Creed games as well.
Yeah. More Assassin's Creed than you have time to play.
Yes. Liam, there's JRPGs on Game Pass. Oh my god, I shall never play any of them.
And on that note...
No, yeah, so I don't
Thank you. That was also definitely a wink for you to play that.
Persona 5 is 100 hours I don't really have right now. I guess. I don't know.
I can have it when I played it.
I wanted to get into it.
It's just fallen off his chair. I didn't. I wasn't looking at him.
I'm here.